Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Josh Shaw Football Show. You're watching SteveMajorSports.com/live. We're glad that you're with us this evening, and we're going to get started. Coach, welcome.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Hey, another tough game that went all the way down to decisions were not made for end of the game.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough one for our team and very physical game. And, Creekview was very well prepared and gave us about all we can handle.
Okay. Well, I just forgot to quit on Safari. So hopefully we're going to be okay right now. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, folks. Anyway, you have some players of the week you want to go ahead and introduce.
Sure. Offensive player this week. Offensive player of the week this week was Keith Adams, 22 carries, 140 yards, and really tremendous game for Keith. Actually had some longer runs that were called back because of penalties. He would have probably eclipsed 200 yards. So didn't find the end zone this week for the first time all season, but tremendous job on his part nonetheless. And, he's just an extremely physical runner. So he got offensive player of the week. Defensive player of the week, Tyler Goddard, 16 tackles. He had a sack, also blocked the punt for a touchdown that his brother ended up scoring on. So he's been tremendous, plays our Sam backer position and having a tremendous junior season for us. Special teams player of the week was Chase Goddard. Like I said, mentioned just a second ago, Tyler blocked the punt. His twin brother Chase, who's also our starting strong safety, recovered the block and was able to run it in for a 38-yard touchdown. So Chase was our special teams player of the week. Also played extremely well for us in the secondary. Scout team players of the week was Hayden Fagerstrom, who's a JV center for us. Does a great job, continues to improve each week, and Dalton West. Dalton he's on a bunch of special teams for us, and then plays corner and does a tremendous job. Very selfless player. Whoop and stick winners this week. We had Steve Hardison on the offensive line, plays guard. Really the leader of that group so far this season. And then Jared Sperling, one of our DNs. He got it back-to-back weeks now. So just a tremendous job by both of those two, anchoring our O-line and D-line up front. So, and then our Stone Cold Steve Austin Warrior Belt winner this week was our right tackle, Derek Battle, who's done a tremendous job as well. Just to see his improvement this season over last season has been tremendous. So those are our players of the week for the Creekview game.
Congratulations to all those young men. And then Steve Hardison, actually, you're in school this week, so he could walk around and do a little bragging.
Yeah, he'll take full advantage of that, I promise you.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you're watching the Josh Shaw Football Show on SteveMajorSports.com/live. And our sponsors is Kenton Tire and Wheel, Green Heating and Cooling Incorporated, Northside Hospital Orthopedic Institute, Georgia Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Center, E.F. Thomas & Sons, Electrical Contractors, Schottenkirk Ford, Fast Signs of Canton, Titan Pest Solutions, and the Wallace Financial Group, Greg Elwell Family Dentistry, Daniel Lawson Residential and Commercial Pest Control, and G-Rocks Photography. Well, Coach, it was a nasty battle the entire football game. Very, very defensive struggle. And, I think in the first quarter, everybody realized what kind of defensive struggle it was going to be.
Well, and we knew that coming in. We were coming off a big win at home against Rome, which was an extremely physical game for us, and then to rebound and turn around and go play another physical game over at Creekview. I mean, their defense had been top-notch through their first few games, and we knew that their coaching staff would have them extremely prepared. And then, you add on top of it, it's a rivalry game. They're 15 minutes from our high school, so and we haven't had a tremendous amount of success over the last few years against them. So it was also our first road game. We play 5 out of our first 6 at home, which is an extreme luxury right now. And that was the one road game added in there. So you had all that. And then, we had a lot of negative plays. We had 3 turnovers 2 interceptions and a fumble. And then we had, I think it was about 80 yards in penalties on 7 penalties. So, and our penalties came at very inopportune times. I mean, it negated a tremendous amount of positive plays. I mean, we would complete a 30-yard pass and it would come back for a penalty, or, Keith would break off a run and it would come back for a penalty. Adarius had a 40-yard reverse and it came back. He got 13 yards on it. And what was a 40-yard gain? We were inside the 15 3 times, came away with no points. So just a tremendous defensive battle across the board.
I can't remember if it's in the first quarter or the second quarter. There was also some big plays by Creekview that was brought back as well. And it was like on almost every play, there was a flag. And it was just amazing if you were watching it, no matter where you're watching it, whether you're at home or whether it's stadium, it was just so frustrating.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah, no, I know.
So I can't imagine watching it. I mean, it was an extremely long game too. I think it was a 3-hour ball game. So, but there were a lot of flags that were well-deserved on our players. And there were some that were, tic-tac and, but at the end of the day, I've never seen an official pick up a flag after he throws it. So it is what it is. And just a tremendous amount of adversity that both teams had to overcome. And we were able to come out on top in regards to that. So, and Creekview got some plays called back. The thing is that what was frustrating, I think, I know for myself and then Coach Williams, I would assume, is they negated the penalties didn't come when it was 1st and 10 and we threw an incomplete pass. And now it's, 1st and 20. The penalty came after we gained a 40-yard gain, and the same with them. There were some big plays and they were negated. It was like almost every time there was an explosive play, it was brought back due to a penalty. So, but anyways, sometimes, that's the way the ball bounces and that's out of our control. So I try not to, for us to focus on that.
And that's what you do with a good coaching staff. You just tell them, kids, you just can't worry about that. We just got to keep playing the next play. And as we're going back, I want to go ahead and talk about Creekview's play. Before the block, they had a pass reception over there on the sidelines, and that would have been a first down, but it was ruled out of bounds, I believe it was. And then they had to end up punting. Is that correct, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I thought it was inbounds. It was right in front of me, but hey, I'll take it.
It was hard to say because the players had blocked the view where I was looking at it, And so when they called that incomplete, I said, oh, yeah, okay, they're going back to punt. And then, of course, we know what happened from there. We got Tyler Goddard just coming in and now blocking that punt, and Chase picking it up, scampering the 38 yards for a touchdown. And what a great, not only brothers, but twins to be able to have that combination. You guys get on the board early, actually.
Yeah, I mean, just a tremendous play by both of those guys. It was a low punt coming off of the foot of their punter, kind of a low line drive, and Tyler was able to get back there and put some pressure on him. Coach Harvey does a tremendous job with our punt block team, and Coach McDaniel's in charge of our special teams, and those guys put in a lot of work for that. And but at the end of the day too, it was a couple of players just making big time plays as well. So Tyler got a chance to block it. And then we actually had Alonzo Upshaw tried picking it up and kind of, there was no one within 20 yards of those guys. So it's one of those deals where, all you see is the end zone and you're trying to pick it up and score. And so Zoe kind of bobbled it around, and then Chase Goddard was right behind him, and Chase was able to pick it up and run it in for the first touchdown of the night from 38 yards.
Yeah. So Coach Harvey never really called the punt block. It was just that Tyler got back there and said, hey, I think I can block this thing.
Yeah, he did. I mean, we do, we got, well, I mean, I don't want to talk about our punt return or right. What we're doing schematically, but we kind of alternate between a couple of different things. But, Tyler was getting blocked, and his guy released to go downfield. And like I said, he blocked it from a couple of yards away from the punter, and it was a low line drive kick that came right at him. And so was able to get his hands on it and block it. So it was definitely a game changing special teams play.
So you guys hit the scoreboard first after Joel Stahl's extra point. You guys were up 7-0 with 3:55 left to go in the first quarter. What a big set of points. Yeah,
I mean, especially when you already kind of figured that it was going to be a defensive battle to start with. So Like I said, definitely a big play and a game-changing play.
So then as we move on, you got Swanda Balker, but there was an ineligible receiver downfield. That's the play, one of the plays you're talking about. Huge yards gained, and they had to come all the way back.
Yeah,
I think
it was it was a third down play to Brady. And if it's the play that I'm thinking about, they had said that Brady lined up. I don't know. It was quote no man's land is what I was told. So, but it was. I mean, Brady's our slot receiver. He was a couple yards off the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure where they wanted him to be. He lined up in the same exact spot the next 2 or 3 plays after that. So, but it is what it is. It negated a big play to him, and a big play for AJ as well.
And then throughout the first half, then there's that play you're talking about, Darius Harshaw with that big play. That had to come back, and finally you had to end up punting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, we got called for. I'm not even sure. I think it might have been offensive holding, 30 yards downfield, and I don't know. I mean, once again, man, the yellow flags, those are out of our control. We just try to overcome them the best we can. But tremendous run by Darius on a reverse, great call by Coach Pierce, and I thought we had some excellent downfield blocking. They called a receiver for holding, and even going back and watching it on film. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't blatant. I can tell you that for sure. So, but it took us out of, it negated a play that went all the way down, I think, to maybe the 10-yard line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your wide receivers did make some plays, but the defense, the corners and safeties were doing a very good job trying to keep them from getting separation, and that's the way it was most of the game. So your kids had to fight a lot of diversity there.
Yeah, well, and we didn't play really well from a receiver perspective, or even offensively in the passing game. I mean, they played press man on us, and we really struggled getting off the press. And so, they did a tremendous job. They've got a great defense. I knew we were in for a dogfight. We had a running play where Keith went off tackle. One of the first drives, and their safety came up from 12 yards away and tackled them for about a 3-yard gain. I thought Keith was going to take it for a touchdown, and to open field tackle Keith, he very rarely does he get tackled in the open field. And as soon as that happened, I realized, I'm like, gosh, these guys, man, they're as good as advertised. So, but it was just, they played press man on us, and we really struggled, didn't play well at that position, and really struggled getting off a press man. And, at the end of the day, we can do some different things to try to put our those receivers in better position to be able to get off that as well. And, we'll have to get better at that too. And then, AJ was just a little bit off throughout the course of the night as well. So we missed a couple of home run balls to Adarius. We had one dropped where Adarius was wide open. I mean, I can't count the last time Adarius dropped a pass, and and he's still dinged up from the Rome game. So fighting through some shoulder issues, and so, but those were just some plays. It was just one of those games.
You're watching the Josh Shaw Football Show on SteamAgeSports.com/live, and sponsors are Canton Tire Wheel, Green Heating and Cooling, Northside Hospital Orthopedic Institute, Georgia Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Center, E.F. Thomas and Sons, Electrical Contractors, and Schottenkirk Ford. So, Coach, you're going in halftime now. You're up 7-0. So, what's Coach Harvey telling the defense and Coach Pierce on the offensive side?
Well, I think defensively it was continue to play the way that you had been playing. I mean, we played really, really good defense for a couple of quarters. I mean, outstanding. Where we were holding them to a 3-and-out and a punt. And I think they ended up punting 7 or 8 times. And we punted 5. I think they punted 8. So, we did a tremendous job getting the off the field and being able to get our offense back on.
So, I mean, let's shout out to that defense. It's Toby Thompson, Tanner Dollyhigh, Jared Sperling, Tyler Goddard, Cody Butler, Brayson Parker, Will Ross, Chase Goddard, Keegan Baker, Austin Trimlow, and Josh Rich. What a great job they did do. Now, they're sort of molding in as the season gets on to be a very, very, very good defensive team.
Yeah, without question. And, Riley Lyons is now starting for Josh Rich, and they both played during the game. And then, Keegan Baker's out with an injury. So Ryan O'Keefe started in front of him and did a tremendous job as well. But yeah, I mean, we've got a little bit of depth defensively. We're able to use a lot of guys. And, Coach Shack does a tremendous job with the D-line, which was a big question mark for me coming into the season. And they've continued to get better each week. And, just anytime you got kids that are relentless on the defensive side of the ball and can run, it produces big plays.
Okay, so we go throughout the entire third quarter. There's no scoring. So you're going in the fourth quarter. It's 7-0, and you guys are up. In the fourth quarter, you put together a 7-play, 63-yard drive. But the key play was the call that Coach Pierce made. Just an absolutely fantastic play with Bacher finally getting the ball and finishing up on a long run in the end zone.
Yeah, it was we run the heck out of the screens, and we finally got Bacher loose. Tremendous job by Brady. But it was a slip screen, and Brady was able to take it outside and able to get into the end zone. A nice dive in. He dove over the pylon, was able to get in, and Joel came in, kicked the extra point, and now we're up 14-0 at that point. And, I was able to breathe a sigh of relief for a few minutes, but it didn't last long, that's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. And that comes with 11-19. So you guys are up 14-0. And then, of course, Creekview comes right back. Don't sleep on that one because they get 80 plays in a 16-yard drive, and Rhodes finishes it up with a run into the end zone.
Yeah, and we allowed some, the Rhodes kid to bust off a couple of runs. We got some pressure on him, and he was able to run for a couple of first downs on that drive. We also had him 2nd and 20, about the 40-yard line, and we flush him out of the pocket for no gain, and we get called for a personal foul on the sideline. And that was about as legit as it comes. I mean, but and that's just not a very smart play by one of our defenders, and it gave them an automatic first down. Other than otherwise it's 3rd and 20 right there, and we had an opportunity to get off the field there, and did not. So I'm sure they possibly they were kind of in an area where they probably wouldn't have punted and too far for a field goal, so they may have went for it anyways on 4th down, and you don't know what happened. But that's a play we just got to be a little bit smarter than that. We don't make many mistakes like that, mental errors and blatant late hit out of bounds, but we had 2 of them that night. That was the second one, and extended their drive and allowed them. The one good thing with that drive, Steve, is they used a tremendous amount of clock in the fourth quarter on that drive. Mm-hmm. So, I think maybe 6-7 minutes, so we made them earn it. And by the time they scored, but, right back again, it's now a ball game again.
That's right. So a little while ago, you mentioned Riley Lyons breaking the starting lineup. And then with 2:35 left to go in the ball game, Riley Lyons gets an amazing interception for you guys.
Yeah, they've tried throwing a fade on him. Of course, Riley's 6'3". He's a basketball player. It's tough to throw, fades on either one of our 2 corners. And they went deep on him, and he was in tremendous position and, high pointed the ball, which is what he does best, and was able to come up with a pick. So, and I believe that other than the block, that was our first turnover of the night. So, just a tremendous play by him, and was able to get get off the field and give our offense back the ball.
So your offense wasn't able to move it. And this is where it really gets tense for the Warrior Nation. Bacher's back to punt, and there's 1:32 left to go in the ball game. It was a low snap, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And he went down to field it, but his knee touched, and so that gave him a safety.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of snaps late in the game. That was the second one, but the one even before that kind of rolled back, and Brady it ended up being a 15-yard punt. I mean, Brady almost put his knee down on the first one trying to get it off the ground. It was like a bowling ball coming back there, and and then we're punting from the 10-yard line and standing in the end zone, and we get another one coming back, very similar to a bowling ball where he had to kneel down and get it. And it's a natural reaction of a player to go down. And that's not the first time in my career that's happened. So we had a game at Roswell here a few years ago where we had our punter at the 1-yard line, and he kneeled down, touched his knee at the 1 with about 20 seconds before the halftime. So And so, but Brady went down to get it, and his knee touched barely, and it ended up giving him a safety. So now we had to do the free kick.
So you had the free kick at the 20-yard line, and then it went out of bounds. And then they ended up getting really, really good field position, and your defense had to really hold on and play tough.
Yeah, and they got a personal foul on the free kick, Steve. So that really helped us. It was so when a free kick goes out of bounds, they basically only mark off 25 yards, and you're kicking it from the 20. That put the ball at the plus 45, but they ended up getting a personal foul, so it moved it back 15, which gave us a little bit of breathing room. But here we go again, and now with the safety, if they put the ball in the end zone, it's going to be a touchdown. But we had some kids on defense that just were not going to allow that to happen, and really made some big plays there on that last drive.
Well, I'm going to call a young man's name again, Tyler Goddard. During that defensive stance, he made a great sack on the quarterback.
He did. He came off the left side, off the edge, and was able to come clean and made a big sack. And not only does that, is it negative yardage, but it allows the clock to continue to run as well. So. Yeah,
and so basically he was able to take over and win that tight ball game, 14-9 against a good Creekview Grizzlies team.
Yeah, they'll compete for in their region over there. They're in a new region this year with the Fulton County schools, them and River Ridge and Sequoia, and Cherokee be well represented in that region. But Creekview will have a shot at the region. I would assume so. Coach Williams does a tremendous job over there, and all of their coaches. So
now this Friday night, you're going to be entertaining a top-ranked team for the second out of 3 weeks when Cartersville comes in. They're rated number 3 in 5A, and we know what types of teams they have. Coach Foster's teams are always well-disciplined, an awful lot of talent on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. What do you tell us on offense for Cartersville? Wide open spread?
Yeah, no, they're a spread offense. They've got some exceptional playmakers on the perimeter. They're going to be in a lot of 4 wide receiver sets. So, but they've got a couple of tremendous receivers in Ross and Sam Phillips. Both of them got about 300 yards receiving on the year, and they got a tremendous running back in Jennings, and then the Trip kid is the quarterback. But beyond a couple of offensive linemen and the quarterback, the majority of their skill kids are all returners. So they're explosive. They had a tight game last week against Creekside, won by 3 points. Creekside had the ball at the 13-yard line. Steve, Cartersville's got a state record 62-game regular winning streak going right now. So, they'll bring that into our place. They haven't lost a regular season game since 2014. So, couple of tidbits there. And, so there's a lot riding on this game, tremendous opportunity for our guys, for our players to play that caliber of a team and, really see what we're at going into the bye week before we get to our region schedule. So, defensively, they're a 3-4. They're extremely sound on defense, tremendous secondary, and, very much like our defense, run to the football really, really well.
Well, both teams, of course, 4-0, and then Cartersville brings in that great tradition, that winning streak that you've talked about. So wish you guys best of luck Friday night. I want to thank Tony Rosenberg and Will Denner for bringing the broadcast last Friday. They're also going to bring it again. Coach, I think I'm getting a little bit closer to getting on the mic, and I need a couple more weeks probably to get my strength up, and I can't wait out till I get there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, we got the bye week, then we get a senior night for Woodstock. So, and that'll be our last home game until Milton at the end of the season. So look forward to you joining us again.
Well, I can't wait to. And don't be surprised if I show up at the practice field one day, okay?
Hey, you got the green light anytime you want. So you know where to find us.
Well, thank you, Coach, and good luck Friday night. And you've been watching the Josh Shaw Football Show on SteveMajorSports.com/live. And a shout out to all of our sponsors. We're so appreciative, right, Coach, to all the sponsors of Cherokee Football and Steve Major Sports.
Without a doubt, man, we couldn't do it without them. So appreciate everybody that supports our program, and obviously supports Steve Major Sports as well. So
thank you, Coach. Have a good afternoon and a great practice.
All right. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.